Dennis, awesome to be talking with you. I think you have accomplished already something that a lot of creators aspire to do and many fail doing, which is moving on from being a pure creator to then also utilizing the audience that you have built, the community that you have created for yourself, and building a business around that. And you have done that in actually several different ways. You have several different business models that you're running simultaneously. Can you talk a little bit about the different kinds of business models that you're currently operating?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're absolutely right. I started as a content creator inspired by people like Ali Abdaal, Iman Gadi to make content whilst I was in university. And then from there, I wanted to really start making money online. And the different business models I started running was I first started by operating Faceless TikTok pages. It's a business model that didn't need a lot of money because I was a broke student. And it was one that enabled me to build the skills of content creation and marketing. And then from there, I had some success, had a few accounts reach hundreds of thousands of followers. And I transitioned into building my YouTube brand because I always wanted to build myself up, build myself as an asset. And then from that YouTube personal brand, I managed to start a digital marketing agency and consultancy where I go to brands and I offer my digital marketing services across YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, had success with that. And then a couple of years ago, I got approached by a co-founder in New York who wanted to start a SaaS project, an AI-based SaaS project, right around when the AI boom was beginning around 2024. And I thought, okay, cool, I want to be a part of this. And so then I co-founded Virlo, which is a digital marketing software which aggregates short form data across TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram, and Meta ads to give anyone that is within digital marketing, whether that's e-commerce, TikTok shop, UGC, they run a local business, SMMA, anything along those lines, access to data as to what is trending across short form media. And then they can actually utilize that data to make content as they're training LLM models based on the data they just acquired. So those are my main business models I'm doing right now, but they all sort of feed into each other one by one. It's sort of like your next five moves, right? You want to make sure every business model ladders into it. So when I help my clients for my digital marketing consultancy and agency, I also give them access to Verlo through it. And they're like, oh wow, this is cool. Like normally we don't work with someone that also has their own software. So it all sort of ladders into one.
It's awesome to have such a portfolio at hand and being able to, as you said, ladder it and hopefully upsell your existing clients and your audience as a customer base. If we go back to your beginnings, though, you said you were a student, kind of broke, as I imagine, and as most people start out, right, in their early 20s. I think it's a actually great place to start because it makes you hungry and makes you want to achieve something and move on in the world. But what then made you decide to operate faceless TikTok channels, as you said? Because from my understanding, TikTok content itself doesn't really pay that well, especially if it's faceless and if it's not related to doing, for example, affiliate setups. What made you decide, okay, this is where I want to start and then move on from there?
Yeah. So the reason I started Faceless TikTok pages was not because that was my actual plan. It's not the case whatsoever. I'd be lying if it was the case. The truth is, I wasn't planning to do online business, but it was the end of my first year at university, going into my second year. And I remember this very vividly because during that summer, I was looking at internship opportunities because what you normally do is the end of second year, you do an internship. And then after your degree, you start a full-time job. That was my plan. And then I was looking around, I was seeing some of the wages of the salaries available. And bearing in mind, I was studying engineering at one of the top universities in the UK, the best university in London. And I was saying, okay, so this should be great. I should be getting a high paying job, well rewarded for my efforts. I mean, I was looking, especially in the UK, at the job market and the possibilities, and it was a little bit bleak. So then I kind of sat with myself and thought, if I'm doing so well to get into university to study engineering, surely if I applied myself to business, making money, I would be able to become successful with that. I kind of just had that mentality. So I thought, okay, that's the game plan. Now let's try and execute it. So I started looking online. I was beginning with drop shipping. Then I realized I'm a student that doesn't have a lot of money. So I didn't have money to spend on ads. So I kind of just pushed that to the side. And then I stumbled across Faceless TikTok through my partner, who at the time was running Faceless TikTok pages where she was posting content about the Kardashians and she was getting paid for it. And this was like a aha moment for me because I didn't think you could post content on TikTok that was not of your face and get paid for it. This concept was completely foreign to me. But she was getting paid, and she was showing me how she was making money from it, and not anything crazy. It was only 1,000, maybe a few hundred per month. But for a student, 1,000 or 2,000 per month is you're like a king or queen. That's that's life changing money for a student. So
Sure
that's when I was
is.
like, okay, I need to try this. So I just applied that exact same concept to some of my interests. I did content around football, around basketball, and then I did a motivational page, and that's what really gave me my success. Because what I did is I took motivational videos and made them black and white. I did my own captions and branded it, and I was the first person on TikTok to post black and white motivational content. You see it everywhere now, but I was one of the first people to do it on TikTok. And that's when I just really started to take off. The first month was around 1,000 followers. And then 5 months later, I was up to 500,000 followers. And then I was monetizing through community, through TikTok was paying me directly, not huge sums of money. It was a creator fund at the time, not the creator rewards program now. I even had like a clothing brand at some point. I was doing promos for brands as well, like at the start of the videos. So that's what really gave me my first success of making money online. And that's what sort of gave me the idea that, yeah, this is something I need to pursue long term.
So it gave you that initial spark. Did you realize that this is not at all common, that you go in, you try this, and a couple of months later you have 500,000 followers? Or were you under the impression that, if you have the right formula and you apply yourself, this is just a natural progression?
Yeah, it's interesting because the way I said it makes it sound so glorified, but that first month, because the channel page got to 500,000 followers, I started that a couple months after I started my journey. The first month I started, I think I maybe got to like 200 followers on my first account, if that. And I don't think I would have, because I was posting like 3, 4 times a day. This wasn't just a daily thing. I was really trying hard at this. I was posting 3 to 4 times a day. Every day I was making content. It was basically a full-time job for me. And this was during the summer when a lot of people take time off university to relax, to enjoy themselves. I was really trying hard at this. And I think the fact that I saw my partner directly making money with it gave me the confidence to continue. Because it's all cool when you see YouTube videos of someone making money through drop shipping or XYZ, but you're a little bit skeptical and pessimistic because it's online, it's through a screen. But the fact that she was showing me on her phone, her making money through the content, I was seeing the way she was making it and posting it. That's when I was like, okay, like this is possible. It gave me the confidence to, even if I'm not having success right now, keep doing it because the success will be there. So that's a sort of like lesson. If you surround yourself with people that are doing things you want to do, even just visually seeing it will give you the confidence that you can make it happen, because everyone will doubt themselves at some point. Everyone that says they don't is lying. You might not doubt yourself potentially, but you might doubt the business model you're in, the path you're taking. So having sort of an inkling that you will find success because other people similar to you have done so is a massive benefit to me. And that's what just enabled me to keep my head down, keep posting content. And then that third account was when I really cracked it and got to those 500,000 followers. All just following the same principles, and kind of overtook her with the amount of money making. But there's a bit of a sore subject, so let's not talk about that. But the point is, you need to find people that are doing what you want to do to a certain extent, because I'll give you so much confidence that the path you are on is going to lead to success.
I think that's actually a key takeaway, that you need to have someone, anyone really, in your life that can show you that this is possible and achievable. And of course, nowadays you have infinite resources online of gurus and wannabe gurus telling you how to get rich quick and how to have this automated accounts that make you tons of money. But you, first of all, always doubt their results because anyone can say anything online. And secondly, even if it was true, it doesn't feel the same as if someone actually showed you, hey, this is my account, this is what I do, here's my bank balance, and this is where the money is coming in, as you can see. To have that in real life, and you were particularly lucky to have a girlfriend who was, willing to share all of that with you. I mean, that's such a big advantage to have very early on. And then you certainly took the formula, applied yourself, and were able to even outgrow her, which is fantastic. I would imagine, though, that when you then decided to launch YouTube and also not do a faceless YouTube, which maybe would have been the easier path because you had experience with making faceless content before, you wanted to get your own personal brand out there. You wanted to build that from scratch, even though you had some topics to talk about and some early successes to demonstrate. I would imagine it is very difficult to go from the dopamine rush of reaching 500,000 followers fairly quickly to then the slow grind that is building YouTube.
Yes, absolutely. You're right. I had the YouTube channel back in the mid 2010s just for fun. There was no inkling of making money for it. I was literally just posting myself playing video games. So it was no sort of like monetization thought process. It was literally just for fun. but I sort of had an inkling as to where the market was going. And I'm really happy I made the decision because I'll talk about the journey for starting YouTube. But a month, well, no, not a month, about 8 months to a year after starting YouTube, my TikTok accounts got taken down. They got banned. Reason being because they were unoriginal content. The content clips were copyright. I mean, I was posting motivational content. It was faceless. I kind of saw the writing on the wall. I was like, there's no way this is going to last forever. And that kind of happened. And I kind of saw where the market was going. This was the time when Ali Abdaal was really emerging. Imran Ghazi was emerging. We're talking the back end of 2021, start middle of 2022, that sort of area. And it's where personal brands are really starting to take off. And personal brands are huge now. Everyone seems to have a personal brand. But back 4 years ago, wasn't really the case. A lot of people were kind of afraid to put themselves out on the internet. You had the main big people in the space, but not a lot of people. So I thought, okay, I want to try this and I want to be sort of a hybrid of them two. That was sort of my idea. I have the engineering and university background that Ali Abdaal has, but I also want to have like the business and make money online side hustle angle that Imran Ghazi has. I wanted to be like a fusion of the two and be like my own person from that sort of perspective. And then I just started making content. I was really inconsistent at first, super inconsistent. I wanted to post like a video a week. It kind of turned into a video every 3 weeks, 4 weeks, had some get 5, 10K followers throughout that, but nothing really crazy. And then I found my angle, which was I started posting, talking more about TikTok through that time, because obviously I was posting on my TikTok pages. And then that's when I really started to grow an audience from there. And then I had to make a decision because I was like, do I go all in talking about TikTok, which was not really my plan. My plan was to keep it quite open, or do I still keep the channel open and go, okay, this is me. This is what I do from a university standpoint and what I do from a make money online standpoint. But I decided let's just go all in on this TikTok journey because TikTok's really starting to take off. And so I just started posting videos all about how to go viral on TikTok. My channel did really well from that perspective, grew very quickly, up to like 40,000 subscribers now. And then since then, last summer, I made a conscious decision to now backtrack away from that, just because I want to like mature, post about a different sort of content style, especially because I don't do TikTok faceless anymore. And I haven't done so for a while now. So I was still doing digital marketing. So I'm still in the TikTok space. I still know how to post content that goes viral, but I don't run my own faceless pages anymore. And I do content for brands now on face pages. So that's when I made the conscious decision to backtrack away from that. But you're absolutely right. YouTube from that standpoint, starting from zero again is a little bit daunting. But once you've done it once, you can do it again. It's all just a confidence game. Once you've seen it happen with your own eyes, it's possible to do. And I know I had the skills through TikTok. It's just applying them to long form YouTube now. And I recommend everyone should have a YouTube channel that has some kind of business, because even myself as a person, the transferable skills I get, I'm so much better at public speaking now, confidence, EQ, those sort of, I guess, you could say personality traits and skills all came off the back of me recording YouTube videos. I've probably done like 600, 700 videos by now with my face on the camera. So I'm used to talking in camera, used to talking to people, and it helps in all facets of your life, whether it is through negotiations, whether it is through podcasts, client calls, YouTube videos, etc. It has a massive benefit. And people even say that when they speak to me, when they haven't seen me for a couple of years, like, wow, like you're so much more confident now. You speak so much better. You articulate yourself better. And definitely, I think YouTube has provided that benefit. And that's something that Faceless just doesn't give you. That's why, also why I pivoted away from Faceless. I wasn't getting enough skills beyond just learning the content game. It was just the same sort of making content, posting it, not including my face, not including anyone else's face really. It was kind of like AI slop content to an extent. It was getting to that stage without the AI. And I wanted to make a conscious decision to branch away from that.
It's such an underrated way of improving yourself, I think, to just film yourself and do so repeatedly and see yourself how you mimic, how you gesture, how you speak, your tonality, your vocal projection. All of these things are things that you can work on and that you can actually improve on very quickly if you just pay attention to a couple of things that everybody should be aware of, but most people are not. So I think YouTube is a fantastic way to improve all of that, because you're forced to listen to yourself over and over again and edit your videos. And then you see yourself acting on camera and you're like, oh, this is awkward. And why did I do this gesture that didn't make sense at that point? And why do I keep looking that way? Why do I keep using those words? So many people never become aware of these quote unquote flaws that they might have, because they never take time to reflect and never take time to evaluate how they actually come across. I had the same experience when I first started YouTube almost 10 years back now, where it was just terrible. I mean, I didn't know anything. I recorded myself on an iPad, and it was basically not edited at all at the beginning. It was me rambling for 10 minutes and then rewatching it and thinking, my God, what am I doing here? This is absolutely horrible. But that's how you grow. That's how you learn, and that's how you improve. And then you learn skills along the way. So I can totally relate to your experience there. How did you, actually, one more point on you building your personal brand? I think it's a great advantage that you have that you started so early in your life. Early 20s is a great time to start a YouTube channel, but then you face the struggle of actually figuring out what you want to talk about, how broad you want to go with your personal brand. Do you want to only talk about engineering as an engineering student? Do you want to go into marketing or content creation, making money online? Like, there are a lot of angles that you could be taking, and you don't want to put yourself into a box too early. At the same time, you don't want to go too broad to not alienate your audience. So how did you go about actually finding your voice? Was this a conscious effort that you took to figure out what you want to be potentially be talking about for the next 10 years? Or did you just take it one video at a time and hope that, okay, this is something I care about and that I know something about, and I just hope to find an audience that it resonates with?
Yeah, I'm really happy you brought that up because for me, I was very conscious about the content I wanted to create. And the way I go about YouTube is actually not the way I recommend my clients to go about YouTube. I don't like being shoehorned in. Like, I don't want to be known as the guy that does TikTok or the guy that does software or the guy that does marketing. I like being a bit more broad. I don't like having a label about myself. But if you want to grow quickly and you want to make money, it's best to be known for something. So when I speak to my clients, and whether that's businesses or individuals or even friends that want my advice on YouTube, I say the best possible way to grow quickly is to go as niche as possible and dominate something. And the more niche you go and the more you dominate it, the more money you will make. So whether that is TikTok shop and that's all you talk about, you want to be the best TikTok shop creator. You can even go more niche than that. You want to be the best AI TikTok shop creator, or you want to be the best AI TikTok shop creator for pets, for pet products. The more niche you go, the better, because people are afraid to go niche because they feel like it closes down their audience. But if you appeal to everyone, you appeal to no one. And you'll find that a lot of the people that have success are very niche down in a particular area. There's one guy that does really well on dropshipping, and his whole dropshipping channel is about native image ads. That's basically the main process of what he does. And it's still dropshipping, but it's that particular component of dropshipping. And now he's an expert for that. And that's how you're going to get known, because you're absolutely right. I stayed broad because I like staying broad from personal decision, and it does sacrifice potential income from that perspective. I'm not going to say otherwise. If I stayed down the TikTok path as other people have, they'd make more cash, they'd cash flow more than me per month because they'd have more high ticket offers, clients, etc. Whereas for me, I stayed more broad as a personal opinion just because I don't like that label personally. But from an income standpoint, it's not what I recommend. I recommend niching down for sure, picking an area and just trying to be the best in that area. If it's like a pyramid, and at the top you got people like the Mr. Beast of the world, the Logan Pauls, etc. You're not trying to compete with them. That's the problem. A lot of people start YouTube and they're daunted. Well, it's a bit daunting because you're looking at all these creators with like hundreds of millions of subscribers. You're not trying to compete with them. Even the make money online space, Alex Hormozis, Iman Gadzis, you're not trying to compete with them straight away. Even if you look at dropshipping or e-commerce, you're not maybe trying to compete with them straight away. Go a step further, like try and niche down each part, have at least 4 times you niche down. And then from there, try and dominate that area. And then when you do really well from there, then branch out. Like Iman Gadzis started as an SMMA guy doing purely social media marketing agency content. And then he was doing a bit of like vlogs and stuff as well. Then once he evolved from that business model, he branched out further beyond that to be like more make money online space. Now he does software, he does consulting, he does X, Y, Z, but it all started from the social media marketing part. So if you're starting out and you want to create content, be very niche down, I'd say at the start. Like be known for one particular thing, build that audience there, and then start to take swings at a bigger audience base. But if you start really niche down, just try and focus on one area. I'm not going to say it's going to be instant. I'm not going to lie to you. But if you do the right things and become a real niche audience, even without thousands of views or tens of thousands of subscribers, you can build a real loyal customer base that watches your content and wants to monitor, wants monetization from you, whether that's like courses, coaching, consultancy, even agency work, etc., ebooks, PDFs. If they value the content you provide, they'll want that from you. And because you built a very niche audience, that audience will care about that specific thing as well. It won't be a generalistic audience or a broader audience that might just be watching for entertainment purposes rather than educational purposes.
I think one major sticking point that a lot of creators that want to turn into entrepreneurs face is figuring out when their audience is big enough to monetize them in other ways than just the ads that they are running on their YouTube channel, let's say. How did you go about that? You just said if you have a very niche audience, you can actually monetize very early, very quickly, because you have built that authority in that very small niche and you have an audience that resonates with that. How was it for you? Was it something that you planned to do instantly almost when you started YouTube, or did you have a certain subscriber number in mind? What was your formula?
So when I started out, I wasn't even thinking about monetization apart from like getting into the YouTube partner program. That's all I really cared about at the start. I didn't care once about like monetizing my audience. I just wanted to post content. I wanted to build a personal brand because I realized that would make me an asset so that I could be able to have business opportunities. And it's been the case. Like I'm able to invest in companies, become co-founder of other companies. Brands want to work with me. I've worked with humongous companies on digital marketing. I've worked directly with TikTok. I've been to their headquarters. Companies like Skillshare, 11 Labs, Doba, WOP, etc. All the companies I've worked with, which has been fantastic. But you're absolutely right. Like when you start out, people a little bit unaware. Do I monetize too quickly? Do I not monetize too quickly? When's the right time to do it? What I advise my clients to do is reverse engineer where you're going to like end up. So if you do see yourself as doing coaching or consultancy, then I would build the offer first and then I would create content. And you don't have to hard sell on your content. You can start from ground zero, having an offer and just having a light call to action saying, by the way, if you want direct implementation with this, then you can check out the first link in the description and book in a call with me and I'll see if I can lend a hand. Something like that. So from the very get-go, you've got at least content. So you've at least got some kind of offer because YouTube suffers a lot from entropy, meaning that someone may watch your content now and they may watch your content for 2-3 months, but they may then just like decide they don't want to watch it anymore. Not their fault or your fault, just because times change. Like there's sometimes I binge watch a YouTuber for like a month or 2 months. I mean, I won't watch their videos for like 6, 7, 8 months. I'm like, oh, I spent like a month watching videos. I go through phases where I religiously watch Alex Hormozy videos when they come up. And then I go through other phases where I won't watch a video of his for like 5, 6 months, just because the time and period of my life, maybe I was on vacation at the time, I was watching it or listening to it while running on the beach. Stuff happens. The point is, I wouldn't wait to have an audience to monetize. I would always have the monetization from the get-go, from the beginning, and then likely start to call people over to it. Don't have to do it too obviously, but like a light call to action over saying, hey, I got this if you want some further help. But one mistake a lot of people make as well is because they've got an offer, they feel like they don't want to give away too much on YouTube because they're like, oh, if I give away too much on YouTube, people won't buy what I've got. It's the opposite. You need to give away so much value on YouTube that people think, damn, like, this is so valuable. The paid stuff must be even better. So don't restrict yourself just because you have an offer, and don't feel guilty for having an offer. Feel guilty if you've got an offer and you're restricting stuff on YouTube purposefully. If you give away YouTube content and you give away valuable information, people will come to your offer. Like when I launched my low ticket community to help with Faceless TikTok back in 2023, I want to say, or 2024, either one of those 2 years, I was definitely giving away so much value in my YouTube videos. By the time someone got to my community, and it wasn't a high ticket community at all, it was like $49 a month. So on the lower end for sure. There was so much value from my YouTube videos. When I was getting onto the weekly calls with people, they were saying, oh yeah, I saw this new YouTube video and I implemented it. It was a point where my YouTube videos was doing a lot of the driving. The community was mostly there for the implementation and the direct support from me and the team. That's what it felt like. And that was really valuable then because people want the information, but they also want the implementation side of things, the accountability, the direct help. Because yes, you can tell me how I would make X, Y, Z money doing a particular business model, but there's nuances. It's not going to be the same linear path for everyone, and everyone's going to have their own problems. And then having that community there or having that direct support there is really valuable. And even my clients that come to me with their digital marketing needs, more often than not, they have the information, but they're not sure where to implement it in the right places. It's like having all the pieces of the jigsaw, but not being able to build it. And that's where I come in and say, yes, look, we're going to do it in this order to get this outcome. And then if this doesn't work, we're going to try out this way. and basically really scientifically sort of put the pieces in place. So definitely don't be afraid to monetize from the get-go, from day one. In fact, you should be starting your YouTube channel with thoughts of where is it going to be in 4 or 5 years' time. That's a good thought process. Like I made a lot of mistakes when I started out. I've learned a lot of stuff on the way. Like life is the best learner. And in a sense, I know now if I started out, I would have thought, okay, where do I want to get to? Let's now create content that gets me towards that end goal. Like where I want to be in 5 years. If this content helps me get there, let's post it. If not, let's bin it off. Let's not post it.
So, what do you think is the best way for creators who want to monetize past ads to go about that? Are there some low hanging fruits? Does it depend completely on the industry that you're in, the audience that you have managed to grow? Is there a very clear plan to be applied to anyone who wants to take that next step? Or is it so individual that you basically have to decide for yourself or get coaching as you offer?
This is my expertise area. It is very, very easy once you have an audience to monetize. Very easy. But there's a range of where you want to sit on the scale. So there are infinite brands that need creators to make content. So the very low risk, high rewards is you just make content for brands. So a brand will pay you how much, depending on your audience size. You can look at $1,000, $2,000 plus if you've got a decent sized audience to make a video about their product or service. So let's say you are in the dropshipping niche, like I mentioned before, and you make content around dropshipping. A dropshipping related brand, maybe it's a dropshipping brand that helps you connect with suppliers or helps you make UGC ads. Something along those lines will say, hey, I see you making content around dropshipping. Our app helps dropshippers or our software helps dropshippers. We'd love to partner with you on a video. What's your rates? And then you can say, okay, I charge $2,000 for the video. That includes me researching the tool, seeing its viability, bringing it to my audience. And then they say, okay, cool. You'll pay $2,000. You drop a YouTube video. It's a win for the brand because you're obviously promoting it. You're talking about the tool in front of an audience. And it's a win for you because you get paid. Not a lot of risk, not a lot of crazy effort. You just get paid per video. And that's the real like sort of light bulb moment where you can start making content a full-time game because the brand deals will exceed YouTube AdSense. For me, YouTube AdSense makes up maybe 5% of my monthly earnings through my marketing channels. And that's because I'm the king of external monetization from that perspective. Like I always think, how can I monetize beyond just what YouTube pays me? Because YouTube is putting a cap on my earnings, just pay me AdSense. I've obviously, like I said, I've got my software Virlo, which I monetize through there, through my YouTube channel. Other brands, you've got affiliate partnerships as well. So affiliates is similar to brand deals, except you don't get paid up front by the brand. You get paid a percentage commission. So let's say you are promoting a certain tool, and pretty much every tool has an affiliate program nowadays. Pretty much every single one. Even Amazon has an affiliate program where you will get like 20%, maybe 30% commission. So if someone pays $50, you get $10 kickback from that 20%. Doesn't sound like a lot, but you get 3-4 of these a day. You're looking at $30, $40, $50. That's a great side hustle income to start out with. So brand deals and affiliates, I'd say the very low risk, easy to get started ones. Then venturing in more, we've got coaching and consulting. This is more effort than brand deals, but it's more potential as well because you own the income source. You can then coach people, consult people, ebooks, that sort of thing where you're giving away information and implementation. Then slightly more further than that, you've got an agency. This is where you are now, people are paying you to give them a service. So like I said before, imagine we're in the dropshipping example, you can have a info consulting offer where you will consult someone on their dropshipping store, give them pointers like, no, this ain't right. I will do this instead. Then the agency side would be you actually take over certain services, whether that is actually making the ads for them. Like you have an offer saying, we'll make you 15 ads a week. And then they pay you and you produce 15 ads for your team. That would be more effort than just doing a consulting part, but you can charge more money for that typically. And then on the further side, we've got actually having your own business off the back of your channel. So whether that's me with Virlo, my software tool, which is a full-on business. This is not for the faint-hearted. We've also got YouTubers doing this, like Mr. Beast has got his chocolate brand, Logan Paul and KSI have got Prime, for example. So you don't have to be an educational content creator to have this. Most content creators understand now they want their own sort of business and product alongside, but that obviously comes with stipulations of having to run some kind of business unless you have someone in charge to do the business for you. They just white label your name. Other than that, those like the spectrum side. So I'd start on the very much low end of just the commissions and brand deals, get your feet wet, make some nice extra money, and then start to venture in with the coaching, the consulting, the agency, and then potentially running your own business one day. Because now I've kind of got the whole spectrum. I have my YouTube channel where from time to time I do brand deals if the brand is actually really good. Like, for example, I'm working with companies like 11 Labs, which I absolutely love. They're the leader for AI voices. I would recommend them even without brand deals. It's important not to ruin your reputation doing this. So only work with brands that align closely with your audience and what you believe actually are good brands and worth promoting. And then you can go into coaching consulting, which I do for brands to make sure their digital marketing strategies are on point. Agency, which I do less of nowadays. I used to do an agency more where I would actually do the digital marketing for the brand. Now I more do the consulting side. And then of course the final product, the business, which I've got through Virlo, my software I've co-founded. So I've got experience running the whole range of them. And it's important to definitely have a game plan in mind of which ones you want to target, but don't be afraid to start off with the brand deals and the affiliate income.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic that you have all of these different pillars already in place and are pursuing them more or less actively. It also just goes to show that you don't have to have millions of subscribers. It's more important to have
Absolutely.
a very consistent, very engaged, and locked in viewership that really cares about your opinion. And then, as you said, dominate that niche and be able to monetize step after step, pillar after pillar, brick after brick on that. But it also comes with the risk, of course, of spreading yourself a little bit too thin. And you said you are prone to having a lot of balls that you juggle simultaneously. How do you see yourself going forward with that, though? Do you plan to build all of this further and further, or do you eventually try to really lock into one or two specific things, either for income reasons or just out of what fascinates you most, or where you see your skills being used at best? In the best way. What is your approach forward now that you have experience with all of these different business models? Can you see a clear favorite for you that you want to pursue long term?
Yes, absolutely. It makes sense to go down one path and double down on that area. Like I said before, I'm a little bit of a funny person in the sense where I don't like just doing one thing. I like I kind of like juggling multiple balls at once. It's just the way my personality is. I don't like being shoehorned into one area. I find enjoyment spending time on different projects, which does limit potential. I'm not going to sit here and say what I'm doing is going to income maximize, but I'm more like the enjoyment side of running multiple businesses. If I was to stick down one path, which I'm kind of doing, it would be the software for the long-term exit potential, because the software won't cash flow, especially so in its infancy stages, alongside doing content for the info and brand deal space. That kind of all ties into one. Like I see my YouTube channel as one business, and all the business income streams are based off that, if that makes sense. So they all sort of like draw into one business, which is my YouTube channel. So that's why I don't see necessarily as different things. If I was sitting here and saying, yes, now I also do drop shipping and I also do, I don't know, what else could I think of as another business model? That Amazon FBA, for example, then I'd kind of get it. But because it all spawns off the back of the content I create, it doesn't feel like a lot of extra business models. I feel like I'm a person that makes content um, for my digital marketing business and for my software Volo. So those are like sort of the two main things I do. Of course, I could be all in just doing software, but that wouldn't necessarily give me the cash flow to sustain myself and sustain the business at the same time as well, because a lot of the money we make is being reinvested straight into Volo to help grow that further. So it's having like the long term and the short term balancing that at the same time. I think that's really valuable. So if you were to do something, I would definitely recommend nailing the short term side of things first, whether that is with doing a consultancy, coaching agency, or even just brand deals, getting that right. And then thinking, what do I want to be doing for 5, 10 years? Like I could see myself still doing Volo in 4 or 5 years time, where I'm at now. I see that very much as a long-term play. So something I'm working towards for that perspective. And if you see a project with that, then feel free to always dedicate time towards that. But make sure you've also got the short-term income coming in to supplement that passion to go for the 4 or 5 year long run play. Because if you don't have the cash to support it, then you might end up not being able to fulfill that dream.
Would you also say that skill wise, you stack skills. You start as a content creator.
Yes.
Obviously, there's a whole skill set. But then to start and spawn off other businesses, you need very different skill sets at times. And having a SaaS company is a very different game than doing online coaching or consulting. How do you think about skill building? What are your best resources? And what do you think are the most crucial skills to have for someone who is at the very beginning of the path that you have been on for several years now, but wants to do what you are doing?
I'm really happy you brought that up because I think too many people my age and younger, like whether in your early 20s, even your teenagers, they're ultra focused on the money aspects. That's all they care about. I want to hit 10K per month, then 20K per month, 100K per month. The money is just a byproduct. I've always realized this, but maybe it doesn't click with certain people. Money doesn't just come to you. It's a byproduct of other things you do and other skills you obtain. The reason LeBron James gets paid the money he does is because of his basketball skills, right? It's the skills first, then the income follows. So you should always be focusing on the skills, not the money. Because if you build yourself up as, let's say, skill wise, let's go back to the dropshipping example. If you build yourself up as the very best dropshipper, money will come to you. So you should just be ultra focused on that. And in terms of skills I actually recommend a lot of intangible skills to start with. When I mean intangible skills, I mean stuff like leadership, decision making, stress tolerance, discipline. These will serve you far greater than learning how to drop ship or learning how to write ads to start with. Obviously, those skills are very important as well, but learn those really intangible skills because no matter what business line you're in, they become important. And running a software, you definitely have those tested at times, your leadership skills, decision making skills. You're making decisions that impact 70, 80,000 users and potential customers for the next months to a year. And don't be afraid to make big decisions. And another big lesson I learned alongside that is don't spend longer time making a decision than it takes to change it. Indecision can, like analysis paralysis, indecision can be a massive detriment to businesses. If it's going to take you 20 minutes to change, don't take longer than 20 minutes to think about that decision. Because you don't need to spend in 2-3 days thinking, do I make this the price? Do I make it 39 per month? Do I make it 49 per month? When at a click of a button, you can change it. So don't be afraid to make big, obviously think about it. I'm not saying just gut check everything, but don't be afraid to make big decisions and don't be afraid to change your mind. Like, don't think I've done it now. It's set in stone. It's like that forever. You can constantly change. We've changed the price at Virlo 7, 8, 9 times already in the last year, and we only launched in March last year. So in less than a year, we've changed pricing like 7, 8, 9 times. We change features, we add features and remove features all the time, tinkering to find what's best, A/B testing to see what works. So definitely those skills I'd recommend. And then beyond the intangible skills like the stress tolerance, discipline, leadership, etc., I would recommend learning sales and marketing because that will serve you in any industry. If you can sell, you will make money, whether that's for someone else or for yourself. Sales is super, super important. There's different ways of selling. There's selling from just like getting on camera, talking to people like a closer. There's also sales in the way you write, in copywriting, in marketing, in writing persuasive copy. There's so many different facets of selling, but learning how to sell and learning at least one form of sales is super important. So that's definitely the skill I'd recommend learning as well. And then you can stack skills on top of that because whatever business model you want to go down, you'll learn certain stuff. Like I've got friends in dropshipping, which the other day was like, how do you know so much about dropshipping even though you don't do it? And that's because I've just been spent time around it so much. And I've worked with so many clients that do dropshipping stores as well that I just pick up stuff by osmosis where I'm speaking to someone that does dropshipping and I'm telling them stuff they didn't even think about in the dropshipping space. They're like, how do you even know this? It's not even your business model. And they're like, yeah, because I just know now because I just spend so much time around those people. So it's important to stack your base skills first and then think about the skills that is going to help your industry. And you'll learn stuff over time as well, like as you get older and as you spend more time in certain industries. So I wouldn't worry about trying to know everything at once. Just start slow, build it up, and you'll go from there.
And if you're on that journey, especially at the very early stages, I think it's important that you surround yourself with people who are on a similar path. It doesn't have to be even exactly the same, but as you just mentioned with dropshipping, you're picking up all these nuggets of knowledge from people that are doing it and that are in that space, even though you are not or not yet. It might be at some point that you decide, okay, I know so much now and I want to get my feet wet, so I'm going to try it myself. But then you know way more than anyone who has never spent time around people who are doing that. Same with your girlfriend who initially got you into creating TikTok. they were close to you, and that way you were able to learn. That's the saying, proximity is power, right? You need to surround yourself with people who are doing what you want to be doing, and you want to be as close with them as possible. So I think that will be a catalyst for anyone who wants to learn anything. What do you think right now are interesting spaces that are maybe underutilized, underserved, or emerging in terms of content that could be created? I mean, you started out fairly early with TikTok and Faceless accounts there. Then you talked about doing affiliate marketing on TikTok, which again was a fairly new thing through TikTok Shop that had just launched in the UK and maybe was not even live yet in the US as it is now. So there are these waves, right? And the earlier you recognize these waves, the more you can ride them. Do you see any of these waves right now?
Yes, I'm a massive fan of catering to going to the extremes. What I mean by this is everyone is doing AI right now. So I would try and do an AI company or an anti-AI company. That's the way I would look at it. If everyone's zigging, how can I zag? How can I make a company that is against anti-AI? Whether that is like a stop AI app or a this is gonna or make YouTube videos saying human methods of making money online or non-AI methods of making money online. Something like that I think works really well. So always find extremes. The middle is where you perish. It's you've got to try and go look for one side, the other. I've obviously got Virlo, which is a very AI based company. I would recommend definitely doing AI. I'm not going to say it's not a good idea to do so. The bubble is definitely still going up in the air with AI. It hasn't popped yet. But at the same time, if you're not AI proficient, why not try something anti-AI? Why not try something against the grain? See if that works really well. What else works really well, I find, is something to do with businesses. I like being in industries where my services are valued. And that's a big reason why I do marketing, digital marketing, particularly for business owners, entrepreneurs, businesses. If a business is lacking something, whether that is AI or automations to make their systems easier, whether that is a website, whether that is digital marketing, that is a massive benefit because there's around, I think I saw a stat the other day that said there's around like 3 million new businesses started every year in the US, which is crazy. 3 million new businesses. And that is just a massive market that you can tap into. People always think things are too saturated, but they don't realize there's like a renewal. Just because that business right now has got a website that you can't target doesn't mean there's not going to be a website that comes around in a day's time that needs a website. There's always going to be a renewal of clients that need services. And that's something people just seem to forget. They think, oh, it's just saturated. Everyone's doing it. But you forget that there's also supply is going up as well. It's not just demand. Demand is going up as well. It's not just supply. Both factors are going up at the same time. So I would definitely do something related to that. And then the biggest one, social commerce. That for me, I think is going to be a massive opportunity. We saw clipping be huge in 2025. Social commerce from the standpoint of making content to sell, whether that is through TikTok Shop, which we know is absolutely massive, clipping, which we know is massive, selling influencers, UGC content, even massive. I can see more large scale brands run UGC campaigns. While I'm talking Nike, Adidas, these sort of brands start to do UGC based campaigns because the power of Gen Z on short form media is absolutely huge. So if you are looking to get into some kind of business model, I would look at either something AI related, anti AI related, or social commerce related, and targeting businesses. Something along those lines. I think you're in the right realms.
Yeah, and it's fantastic to see how those two massive waves are also being combined to some extent, right? I saw you had some videos on making AI generated UGC content, for example. You can automate UGC to some extent. Whether or not that's going to be a long-term strategy that can be successful is still to be seen. I think there is some pushback towards that, understandably so, in my opinion. And if the algorithm changes, it might be that AI UGC content could be down prioritized. It could also go the other way, right? It could be that TikTok just says, okay, this is making us so much money. There's no way we're going to turn this off. And we are willing to lose a couple of users over this. So it remains to be seen. But either way, it's a massive opportunity. It's cool to see those really massive fields kind of join forces. And I'm very curious to see where this will lead. Actually, I'm about to talk to a couple of people in that space on this podcast because it fascinates me so much. And there's so much still to be done. I mean, now the ads are getting really close to indistinguishable from real UGC, real people in front of a camera, but you can still kind of tell. But I think in a year or so, we're actually going to be at the point where you're buying and you don't know what you just watched. Was it a real person? Was it UGC? Was it a hybrid? Nobody will really know. And it's fascinating that that's the world we're heading towards. How do you go about that space? Because as I mentioned, you have videos about automizing such a process as well. Is that something that you do routinely? Is it something that your clients are asking from you in terms of advice? Or is it just basically a side hobby for now that you're working on?
Yes, I literally had someone yesterday ask me about AI UGC. They run a massive app studio and they're looking to crack TikTok organic. They've been doing really well from paid advertising, but not through organic for getting sales to their apps. And they were telling me about AI UGC. And I said to them, I said, AI UGC is getting better and better every day. I've been in the space for a while now, more as a connoisseur than using it actively. I still use it from time to time to make ads and get sales, but it's more like a connoisseur, like keeping up with the space, seeing what I can do with it, applying it to the clients I work with. And I said to him, I said, AI UGC will work really well for a hybrid method right now, meaning you do the hook with AI UGC because then you can basically generate any sort of hook. And hook's all about scroll stoppers. So if you have got a very boring setting or you want to create an ideal hook, you can just use AI UGC to make it. So one thing that's working really well on TikTok Shop right now is these fake like interviews, like street interviews. And they'll be using that to basically have like an interview going on. So you don't have to actually leave your house. You could be a massive introvert and then stitch that off the back of you promoting that product. So let's say, for example, you're selling teeth whitening strips. The interview can be a guy interviewing some young girls in like their 20s, saying, and he's saying, what's one thing that's a big turn off on a guy? And they can say if he's got really bad teeth, for example, and then or like really yellow teeth, for example, and then you can say, I just found these teeth whitening strips on TikTok Shop, for example. That can be like the part after. So you've used AI UGC for the hook to really entice the audience. That's the sort of direction I'd recommend with AI UGC right now. The hooks are really valuable. Making full scale videos with AI UGC is possible as well. If you're doing like products, like e-com products, I've done it myself. It can work well. And I've had brands reach out to me asking me to make them AI UGC ads as well, like hundreds at a time. But I really like the hybrid method right now, in my personal opinion, especially for TikTok Shop, for e-com as well to an extent. I think that's a really, really good way of using AI UGC, like mixing the human side with the AI side in conjunction. Perfect. Like makes the workflow easier and still keeps that humane touch that a lot of people, you're right, want to have. As it becomes more and more I can't pronounce the word indistinguishable, you won't be able to properly see the difference between AI and human side, but there'll still be some giveaways like the voice. You can tell it's quite robotic sometimes with
Right.
AI UGC, and people still want that human sort of touch. If you sprinkle in the AI side, people won't mind as much. Having the human touch is really important.
I think it's also a great space for anyone who is entrepreneurial, hungry, and trying to get their feet wet because it is evolving so quickly, right? On the one hand, you have AI that is constantly getting better and constantly pushing out new functionalities. There are new SaaS businesses popping up left and right, able to help you automate something like AI UGC. But then you also have, on the other hand, social commerce that is so new and so novel and constantly changing as well. There's so much untapped potential because so many brands are just waking up to this social commerce trend. They might not have tried it at all. So if you're someone who wants to get into the space, you're not facing a lot of very established incumbents. There are some people who might have been doing it for 2 years, but that's about it. And if you're living in a country that is not the US or the UK, TikTok Shop might not even be live yet in your country. So you can have an eye out for that and see if TikTok Shop is actually launching there. You might be the first agency in your country to actually offer these kind of services.
Very good point. Very good point. I'm really happy you brought that up as well because I was about to say the way TikTok Shop has done it, soft launching in certain countries, you're getting a taste from the outside world. So as soon as it launches in your country, you can basically learn the lessons that the UK, USA people have learned and apply that. TikTok Shop is meant to launch in Korea, I believe, soon. Australia is coming this year as well, hopefully. I've got a client from Australia who's waiting for TikTok Shop to come there because
Could
they sell
imagine.
direct to consumers. They can't wait. if you learn the lessons and apply it, you can make a lot of money. So definitely, if you see yourself that's not from, I'm from the UK, so it's already here. So I can't change anything about that, unfortunately. But if you're somewhere that where it doesn't exist, that's a great place you can just tap into and start basically getting down. Start with your feet on the track, ready to go. And that absolutely, I agree with you from that perspective.
Last question, Dennis, to wrap it up. What is the main mistake from your journey so far that you wish people would not repeat and you can help them avoid?
I'd say the main mistake I made is not being too afraid to pivot earlier, whether that's being too afraid to leave my job and start my own business, whether that's being too afraid to start my community or change the path of my channel, being scared that I'm going to lose where I'm at, not realizing that you have to sometimes take steps backwards to take steps forward, in the sense where if I got to a certain income mark, I was like, yes, I'm making this amount per month. Scared to go backwards to go forwards, but you need to sometimes. You can't. It's not always going to be this. So definitely, if you're somewhere and you feel like you're happy right now, but you want to progress, maybe that is with skills, whether that is with income, whether that even is with your career, whatever it may be. Don't be afraid to take backward steps. Sometimes take forward steps, as long as obviously the projection is taking forward steps. It's very rare. Every step on the ladder is going to be up. It very rarely happens from that perspective. Sometimes you do have to take a detour, which is a sideways or backward step, to open up a door and open up a new path for you where you can go, okay, now I can get further ahead in my journey. So sometimes I feel like I was too afraid to make that move. I waited a while to leave my job. I waited a while to move out to my own place in Manchester. I waited a while to even like pivot what my channel talks about, away from Faceless TikTok to more business and AI and SaaS, because I was afraid of it hindering where I'm at and making a mistake. But really, mistakes are part of it, and you shouldn't be afraid to then make those wrong decisions, because if you don't make, the only wrong decision is indecision sometimes. Like if you don't make a decision, you'll just stay in the same place. And that's the worst possible thing, because you have money inflation, but you have life inflation, in the sense where if you do the same thing over and over again, you're not getting better, you're getting worse, because relative, everything else is getting more expensive. Everyone else is improving. So you can't just be in the same static position. You've got to always look to improve yourself.
Awesome last words. Couldn't have said it better myself. Dennis, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much.